Why are we here? What are we here to accomplish? What's our legacy going to be?
Authentic, engaging, inspiring. Dusty Staub is about leading wholeheartedly, not just technically and intellectually, but with personal mastery and emotional proficiency.
Life is full of false choices. Those false choices we've seen executives make, teams make, and organizations make. They were mistakes of thinking that it was an either-or, a yes-no, a black-white, or a right-wrong.
Dusty teaches organizations, teams, and their leaders how to combine competency and integrity with passion and intimacy for lasting results.
Consider that the natural state of the human mind and the human heart is one of expansiveness, of connectivity, of a hunger and a desire for transformation and change. To see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. Divine imagination is that ability to create, to envision. All great entrepreneurs, all companies are created out of that space. It takes bold courage to put a dream out there, knowing that you're going to be measured against it, you can fall short.
When Dusty Staub stands before an audience, he brings with him 35 years of leadership coaching, training, and consulting experience in organizations from small family-run businesses to Fortune 100 companies. His clients have come from all sectors: government, healthcare, manufacturing, retail, food service industry, banking. Author of Heart of Leadership and the 7 Acts of Courage, Dusty uses inspiring, moving, and often very personal stories to draw in his audience and keep them focused on leading from the heart long after his speech is over.
If you can't do what you love, how do you bring what you love into what you do? Remember, success in our society is determined by how much money do you make, what's your status, what's your reputation, how important are you? Well, that feeds the ego, but it doesn't feed the heart. When you talk about transformation, you're talking about significance. And significance is, how deeply did you love? What's the legacy you're leaving behind? How deeply connected are you to your children and your family? How joyful is your life? What are you in service to?
Audiences as varied as the FBI, the Women's Food Forum, United Health Group, Phillips-Van Heusen, USDA, the North Carolina Certified Public Accountants, South Carolina Technical Community College, North Carolina Council on Developmental Disabilities, and women in Cable TV have experienced Dusty's authentic, engaging speaking style. It's not surprising that he is routinely asked for return appearances.
When you're feeling anxious, angry, frustrated, vengeful, under attack, defensive, whenever you're defending, you're in a spell. In my defenselessness lies my best defense.
Dusty's presentations are customized to meet your organization's unique needs. Take advantage of a broad range of leadership topics. Essential acts of courage.
Because where your courage stops is where your leadership effectiveness in life is going to stop. Where your courage stops is where your effectiveness in your family life stops. Where your courage stops is where your personal effectiveness stops. Without courage, you can't lead. Without courage, you can't really succeed.
Employee engagement.
Consider how difficult it is to get individuals, teams, and organizations to go through a change process. Only thing that gets in the way are old patterns of thinking, old cognitive habits that limit the ability to step into the natural state of generativity, creativity, innovation, excitement, and connectivity.
Transparency in leadership. Conflict resolution.
And it goes back to an old poem by Edwin Markham. It goes like this: he, me. He drew a circle to shut me out. Heretic, rebel, a thing to flout. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew the larger circle which drew him in.
Change mastery. Transformational leadership. Breakthrough thinking. Team-based innovation.
In some corporations, it's like every 2 years we need to do an employee opinion survey or an employee engagement survey. And we're going to gather the data because we want people to feel heard. But all we do is gather the data. We don't do anything with it. So the counterspell, because that creates a lot of resentment, a lot of anger, is we won't do any employee opinion surveys or engagement surveys because we don't want to get people excited and think something's going to actually happen. And it will get them to complain. So I've got 2 different spells And there's a spell breaker there, but those spells limit the organization. One is, we're going to be informed, but we're not going to change anything. And the other is, we'd rather fly blind, which is kind of dangerous in an organization.
Effectiveness 3.0, Emotional Intelligence 1.0.
What's your legacy? What will be the legacy of your life to your family? And what's the legacy of this business going to be? That's where you create greatness.